Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Hey, it's that time of week again. Let's document the mod collection and demo shop listings. While maybe not the most exciting week they've ever had, there's no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles running around this time, we do have a few interesting ones to talk about, starting with this SG Std 61 done up in British Racing Green. So it appears to start as one of the 61 style SGs from the original collection, and they routed it out for a middle humbucker and played around with our plastics and gave us a very interesting trapeze-like tailpiece here. But this right here looks like what they put on an EDS 1275 instead of like the normal vibrola that we've been seeing right here. So that's interesting. And then we get an all green finish with all the blacked out plastics. That's looking pretty sweet. But if you zoom up here to the headstock, they also sprayed that over in green. And matching that with the rusty hardware and the old looking tuner tips, that's a nice touch. The only thing this one's missing is a black stinger on the back. But that sold quickly at $2,400. Next up, we have another SG, but from the custom shop this time for considerably more money. So what made this one interesting is they did some sort of a floral motif on the pickup covers. You've got some leaves and stuff going on there, and they matched it with all the other aged hardware. Looks like we have a strange white-black pickguard mix match, and everything else is just about the same. I do like this idea, I just don't know if it really fits on this guitar or not. I feel like you need a Mary Ford arm guard on this guitar to tie that in. Next up, we have a 57 reissue in Opaque Blue. So this just looks like a baby blue Les Paul to me. Everything's pretty much about the same. Opaque, meaning not being able to be seen through, means we can't see the wood grain. So why did they have to put that in the title? I'm not sure. Probably because it sounds a lot cooler than just saying blue. There's quite a few custom color R7s out there. I've documented a couple of them if you'd like to check that out. For example, my snakeskin top one, or this Rock or Not episode where we did a blue burst flame top one, and the kimono one was very exotic. Next up, we have Primary Blue, another fancied up blue finish, but this time very bold and boisterous. So we've got a purple pickup ring, we've got a red pickup ring, red pick guard with yellow, and it even looks like we have one of the Peace Pink switch tips on here. I think they were trying to primarily use primary colors. It's cool in an art class way. Even our backplate's red, and it looks like maybe dark blue, and it looks like the tuner tips are black. But hey, how about this Les Paul Custom at $48? So we've been talking about double gold finishes for a while, but I think this is the first Les Paul Custom I've seen done up like that. There's not enough all gold customs out there, so that one was fantastic. This 61 SG Std was offered in bright yellow. I don't know about you guys, when I think bright yellow, I think something a little bit more attacking to your eyes than this. I mean, this isn't too bad, but it's definitely a lighter color than normal, and it's a full-on gloss-free finish. So for that, I applaud you, Demo Shop. Good job. I love to see full gloss free fins. Nothing against satin finishes. Generally from the mod collection, I prefer their gloss finish. We also seen the return of Berry Frost on an ES339. Now, I'm not sure if they called it Berry Frost last time, but we've seen something very similar to this. So this started life as like a wine red, and then they sprayed over it like a transparent white. So you can kind of see the white at certain angles. It looks like they even did the headstock, very similar phenomenon, but underneath that, it almost just looks like they silvered everything out. But that looks really sweet with the black tuning tips, everything else being black, including your truss rod cover there. And then they did the exact same thing on the back. So I don't know if you call that a complete refin if they're just kind of overspraying, but hey, it's cool that you can see the figuring on the back yet too, as well as on the front, and they play with the specs. We get the UFO style knobs like you would see on high performance series guitars. The uncovered neck pickup looks extra evil. And then the Bigsby with the covered bridge pickup. Yeah, that could be fun for someone. Here's another one that took the silver to an extreme. Instead of good gray, it's now called shiny gray. I probably just would have called it platinum. That looks great. There are platinum guitars from the Platinum series, Les Pauls and SGs. So they did a complete refin there on the body. They swapped out the P90s on this SG Special for mini humbuckers. Actually, those might be Firebird pickups, I'm not sure. Yes, indeed, according to the spec sheets. But they just did that light silver flake over top of the headstock, swapped out the truss rod cover to match the tuners. This one almost needs like a platinum fretboard on it. But either way, another fantastic full-on gloss refin. Here's one I'm surprised that's still available. I need to refresh the page to see if it's still there. Yeah, at the time of recording, this is a 64 reissue 335. Brand new, these are like $6,000. But this one is in a custom Brunswick blue sparkle gloss finish. It doesn't look like anything from these photos. Looks just like straight up black. But check out Brunswick blue sparkle on this modern double cut that we reviewed about a week or two ago. It's a fantastic finish. This Brunswick one was just done so dark, you just can't see it. Maybe Maybe it's the photo angle, maybe it's the lighting, who knows, but I have a feeling this is going to be spectacular in person. Because at least in this photo, you can tell it does have the blue sparkles. And to tell you the truth, this was almost the one I decided to buy this week. So I'm flabbergasted it's lasted a couple of days. At the time of recording, it's one of 3 left. Next up, we have another similar one to that Shredder SG, but this time done in Les Paul format. Not quite the same pickup covers on there, but very similar with our Dirty Fingers pickups. But this one is a full-on satin refin. And then they had a collection of these 70s Flying Vs. Honestly, I didn't see what was too different about them, except for they played with the pickups and what knobs they used on each, and it looks like they used some sort of like an aged pickguard. So here's the first one. Here's the second one, all decked out with gold hardware and reflector knobs. And then this one looks like it got blacked out with gold knobs. I'll be honest, I was kind of expecting stingers or like a number on the back or something, but no, they were just 3 done up very similarly. And then if white is not your style, we've got this bad boy. He's done up in purple and black with some clear knobs. That's actually pretty cool because look at your pickups. It's a double white and then a double gray. You don't see Gibson use double gray bobbins. I've got to see what that is. Whoa, 490R double gray. They had to have changed them themselves. Or that was part of a covered series and nobody's just ever supposed to take the covers off to find that out. And then they gave us one of these Flying V customs. Looks like as far as modifications is they blacked out the hardware and just made that look like a shred metal machine. I love that diamond output jack plate on it because it's so thick and multiplied and it matches the pointiness of the pickguard. Here's another one done up in that racing green finish, except for you can't see it. It just came out a little bit too dark in the photos. I feel like these really unique finishes, maybe they should have like an outside photography booth or something that has a little bit more natural light. Not for all of them, but just for some. This SG Tribute looks like it got a 3rd pickup and they added some white plastics to it. This 335 is a natural satin finish, but oh, what do we have here? More designs on the pickups. I wonder if they're just practicing on that. They don't really know what to do. Like they had recently toyed around with like putting cut up acoustic pick guards over top of it. It's like the hummingbirds and whatnot. So it looks like they're trying to find a new way to do that. And hey, this one's got BFG wooden knobs too. That's going to wrap up the mod collection this week, but let's actually go over to the Netherlands and France this time. The European demo shop. What on earth, guys? These have been like releasing maybe 2 or 3 a week, and then this week we got like 10 that have already sold, and then the ones that are still available, you had like another 20, and there were some screaming deals. So if you were in either of those countries, here's what you could have got. One of those freaky EB bases that was never super popular, but hey, at least Gibson was trying something new. A whole bunch of these reissues, so look at that flame top on this one. It's a 59 60th anniversary done up in gold and poppy finish. It's got an awesome back to it. Still has the medallion on the back. That is an interesting one. Now this one done up in lemon fade, they were asking considerably more for, but it looks like we've got some extreme damage up here. But another very cool back with a little bit of figuring. They say it's Murphy aged. I don't understand why a Murphy aged guitar ends up in these places because, I mean, couldn't it just be sold as brand new anyway? Next up, we had an Axcess Les Paul Custom in white with the gold Floyd Rose at $4,000, including all taxes. You know, for the European market, that is a phenomenal price. But it is a bit older, a 2016, meaning it's going to have a rich light fretboard. Here's another reissue, 58 style. Really like that top. That's a good looking one. And that one was listed at $5,500. That's got an ultra dark back to it. We had an SG Custom at $4,000. Another 59 reissue, this time with a 3A quilt top, listed at $6,000. I really like this 59. This half is so ridiculously flamed, and this half, I mean, it's got some flame to it, right? But it's overtaken by this giant waviness in the wood grain. I like that one. It's a bit of an odd duck, but 5,700, that's interesting. But what is going on back here? It's like normal stuff, but then somebody took the finish off the neck? Yeah, they did. Who buys a guitar, takes the finish off the neck, and then returns it? I'm still not sure the story behind all the European demo shop stuff, but that one might be a tough sell for them. They had a couple of these DC Juniors, I mean $800 including value-added tax. Kinda high, but I still remember these at blowout pricing, so maybe in today's market it makes sense. But I've always liked those little things. There was a double gold 57 reissue in a dark back, a lone Songwriter acoustic on this one, a 63 custom shop reissue ES335. I mean, at $4,000, that's really not that bad of a price, especially when you get all this ringage on the back. Awesome. This was just kind of a unique top Les Paul traditional. I thought I'd share it. Kind of gives you slightly Koa vibes. Back isn't anything too special though. According to the description, it's from 2018. You can verify that with the back plates. Those were used in that era. Silverburst Custom, screaming deal for somebody over there to get one of those like newer ones. But man, that's a 2017. So it's going to have the rich light fretboard and it's got some checking. So if you don't mind that stuff, it's not bad. Oh, and if you don't mind the giant demo stamp on the back, that one's not as deep as some of the other ones. But this one got me excited, a beautiful Les Paul Supreme. We've been talking about Supremes lately, and that one just has a very nice top in this photography setup, and the back looked nice. 3100 including everything. This one I thought was funny. When the demo shop in the USA lists these things, they don't mention CME, but the EU demo shop just doesn't care. Honestly, this one probably got to their shop due to the Andertons actually partnering with CME to offer some of their exclusives. This was probably the best deal the entire week, an ES Les Paul. Granted, it doesn't have the most flamey of flame tops, but including everything, $1,600. That's like old 2018 blowout pricing stuff right there. That's a good one. I guess we should probably see what's wrong with it. It got a couple of nicks and dings. It's definitely been used. A couple of scratches, impressions. It was rode pretty hard. I think they had priced it appropriately to get it to be sold. But sadly, that's an extreme case of what can happen to your Gibson logos. Generally, they don't get that bad, but that's probably not a good sign for the future of the ES Les Pauls. There was a Lefty white custom, a particularly nice looking Les Paul standard Goldtop for only $18. One of the Les Paul tributes for a fair price. And another screaming deal, a 335, done up in all gold in left-handed. Like, that was the perfect combination for somebody. Fantastic deal, rare guitar, rare finish to find on this particular model. I mean, if you're a lefty and you were looking for something unique, that was the deal for you. Because the condition really doesn't even seem that bad. Besides maybe wanting to replace your hardware for cosmetic reasons. That's probably still at least a $3,000 guitar. And hey, one of those beautiful Les Paul standard 7-strings. I missed it in the demo shop, a few months ago, but now another one has shown up over in the EU market. This Les Paul Standard T has a fantastic top on it. The back, a bit boring, but it makes up for it. Then, ooh, wow, a ES330 64 reissue. You just don't see the Gibson variation of a 330 done very often. I mean, they just recently did the Slim Harpos, but outside of that, I don't think they're in production. I could be wrong on that, but it might just be custom ordered basis. You can always go the Gibson made USA casinos, and maybe that's why they're not doing them right now, so people go for those. And then lastly, I mean, look at this one, 58 reissue, only $3,600 with a 2-year playability warranty with a top like that. Definitely a nice deal for someone. So now let's swap over back to the American side. Not too much this week. First, we have this modern Les Paul. I mean, we see these things all the time. I just wanted to share it because I particularly like this wood grain right there. This standard 50s, while particularly unassuming at first glance, I happened to catch that the neck actually has some flame figuring within it. So this one's available at the time of recording if you want that. But I saved this custom because it makes me upset. First off, it was birthed in that weird period of time where you could find a rosewood fretboard, which makes it unique. I like that in that aspect. But if you're going to put one of these Maestro vibrolas on it, it's such an injustice to take off the little screws on the side and not give you the big old Gibson plate. It just makes it look completely incomplete. But that is definitely one for a quirky guitar guy. But what? Why was that one done in 2019 with a rosewood fretboard? It must have been an early 2019 before they brought Ebony back. This is another one of my favorites this week, a 60th anniversary SG Standard this time. So we saw that custom color custom last time, and I didn't even realize that it was a stop bar variety instead of one of the vibrola units. I probably should have bought that. But this time we have a TV yellow standard instead of the regular cherry. The fact that it's part of that limited edition run means in the future, people will be like, hey, that's cool, a custom color of that limited edition anniversary year. I would like that for my collection. Doesn't mean much right now because that model was just discontinued, but in the future, I could see somebody paying quite a hefty premium for that. I mean, they're listing it at $4,500, and it has a boatload of watchers. But speaking of boatload of watchers, 175 watchers in only 3 days. We've got this pretty in pink 58 Les Paul Standard. Now you gotta remember, I think the 58s right now, they're about $5,300 brand new, so it is a very slight discount, but it's done up in pink and gold hardware. I like it. I was tempted to buy this one. Has a nice dark fretboard. Sure, it's not a traditional color, and we got some checking. And then as far as the sold listings, I mean, there was a whole bunch of players' grade stuff, but nothing I really wanted to talk about. Except for this. My heart stopped for a minute. I thought, no! I missed another Fort Knox. No, they just did it up to look like the Fort Knox model. It's a 50 standard Goldtop, but they've golded everything out, added a Bigsby, removed our pick guard. Doesn't even look like there was ever a pick guard on that one. Impressive. Maybe even a brass switch tip here, golden knobs. I mean, they just pretty much Fort Knoxed that one out. But I definitely breathed a sigh of relief when it wasn't that model. All right, troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed the recap this week. Hopefully a little bit more exciting stuff next week, but that concludes tonight's episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.